Sometimes it's the simplest things that bring us happiness. I finally saw today in our school that's being redone, we've been waiting for a long time. They've started covering some of the HVAC piping with sheetrock in the classrooms. This, at least in my mind, is the first big movement towards wrapping up the rooms and getting our school back in operational order to get our young people back here. We are projecting to have the school classrooms mostly completed by the end of May. Let me give you a little rundown of some of the progress of the entire project and where everything sits. The engineering work is mostly complete for the geothermal portion of the project. We will need 180 wells. I'm thinking at least 250 feet each. Our green space in the back in the south of the building will be used for these wells. They will take up nearly an entire space. Let me explain. They will take off several feet of soil, and then they're going to drill the wells. And when they're done drilling the wells, they will move the soil back. Once that's completed, we will put in a sprinkler system and plant grass. The latest word is that we'll begin about mid-May, and the drilling would extend until September. Let's take a moment to take a peek behind the scenes for those engineering nerds out there that might be interested. You need lots of electricity for geothermal. We continue to explore these options because I'm amazed at some of the lead times. On some equipment, it takes an entire year, but then you can buy others equipment for much more expensive for just weeks. So there's a lot of things to navigate. It seems so far that the best option is going to be to put in a new service, a 480 voltage system that will power the geothermal equipment. How it works is that the water is pumped through all the wells and brought into the building. A heat pump then transfers the heat from the water and it flows back through the wells. The heat is used to warm the building, and as a result, it makes the ground near the geothermal wells cool. Then in the summer, the opposite happens. The cool is removed from the water to cool the building, and warm water heats up the well field again. Kind of like a big battery, you could say. We will have a geothermal system that is able to both cool and heat different rooms at different times. So there will be lots of flexibility with the system. The heat pump unit is too big to go through the doors, so we're going to have to cut a hole in the floor just north of the offices and lower the unit down. The unit is, I think, 60 by 48 inches or so, so it's a pretty sizey unit. That will also help, meaning this big hole, will also help in the removal of the old coal boiler, which will have to be cut up into several smaller pieces to be removed. It's interesting to compare the high-tech geothermal heat pump to the old giant coal boiler. It makes one wonder what will be installed in 70 years, and whether this geothermal system will seem archaic compared to that. There are several areas that need work. The school and the parishes both needed to have new ductwork. The school offices are mostly completed now, and the parish's offices need to happen next. So with this, we will need to move out temporarily. The plan is to move the parish offices into the school offices come about mid-May or so, for about 5 weeks to the end of June. While the work is done in the offices, I'm sure it will bring a bunch of chaos, but in the long run, it will be nice to have even controllable heat in the office area. I'm assuming later on in the summer, the work will come into the church in the main hallways. At that point, the plan is to move the Little Deacons, our 3-year-old program, into the school. We are planning to have the entire project, except for the geothermal, done by the beginning of October in time for the heating season. At some point, we will lose our air conditioning. Hopefully that will be later in the summer, but it really might be sooner rather than later. After a nice cold winter, I'm hoping a little heat will not bother us too much. Thanks again for all of your immense support to make all of this happen. And it'll be quite an accomplishment when we're all done with this. it's all paid off, and we're enjoying the great benefits of having a building that provides good heating and cooling. And we're ready then for the many years of beautiful ministry to continue. God bless you.